everybody, welcome to Painting Happy Little Minis. I'm Gretchen.
And I'm Dave.
And today we're gonna make some terrain. And I'm not gonna lie, it kind of feels like I'm back in 8th grade tech class.
It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
It's totally kind of like that. I got the box here. I'm gonna lift it over. And I can't lift it with one hand. Check it out. One hand because it's empty. And Leon has all of the rest of the items spread delightfully across the table. I'm not sure. Does she have a camera? Oh, it does? Yep. There is a camera. To show them.
Yeah. Oh.
I don't actually have that.
No, okay, we don't have that angle. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm measuring things. I am attempting to make straight lines. I promise nothing.
Well, I'll just let you know that on my straight lines, there's a little error up here, and there's a little error down here. So don't worry too
So
much.
just make them prettier than you, and
It'll be all good. Yeah. So yeah, today we're going to be we're starting the first of 2 shows that we're going to be doing with the Game Master box from the Army Painter. That's which finger is? Okay, it's this finger over here. Yes. So there we go, the Army Painter. So the Dungeons and Cabins core set. So I think, well, it's probably about a month and a half ago. I showed everybody this cool piece of terrain that I made with the set.
yeah.
I did some crazy walls with some alcoves.
And now we're gonna make a cafe. It's fine.
Yeah. I made it so you could put treasure in there, but I did not make it. Well, there we go. You can see the treasure piles now. I did not make it so I could put a little, what's the word? Like a little table and chair set in there. A little cafe set. But we are indeed going to be making Garistro's Bistro.
I think it's important.
For those folks who have been watching us for a while.
Oh, there's my first mistake.
Oh,
It's okay. It's, you know,
these things happen.
the cracks in the floor of Garistro's Bistro.
Yep.
There we go. I should have brought Garistro today.
Yep. So Gretchen will bring Garistro next week. But yeah, this was Garistro's friend. This is who I painted up when you were painting
Yes.
Garistro. And there was, I don't think we set out to have a bistro owner.
We didn't, but you know,
that just sort of happened during the show.
sometimes.
So we'll come back to
Sometimes the journey takes you where you don't expect.
to strange places, indeed. Strange places.
The creative process is not a linear journey.
Yeah, I think somehow we talked about food, and then
Oh, so like every other show.
yes,
Pretty much. Yep.
and then we were talking about monsters, and then I think someone mentioned in the comments that it rhymes.
Yeah.
Garistro and bistro.
Was it Josh Potter?
It might have been.
I'm going to blame Josh.
Yeah, I think we can.
Apologies if it was somebody else. But we should say hi
We should.
in the chat. So we have a Facebook user. We have somebody who's coming up as a Facebook user who has said, "What's up, everyone?"
I will get the link that they need.
Leona will get the link that you need and pop it in the chat, so that you can allow Restream to show us your name, so we can talk to you like a normal human being rather than just Facebook user, anonymous Facebook user. But hello JT, hello Roger, excellent. Oh yes, I had to wear my Adeptus Mechanicus t-shirt today. But yes, so the question. Oh, and hello Dave Hummel. Cool. So yes, the question was: does the kit come with a bunch of paint and foam? It does. It comes with I think there are 5 or 6 sheets of this size, and 2 sheets of the size that Gretchen has. So you can
Which
see
I
that.
have my lovely grid marked out.
Yep.
It's not too shabby.
Yeah,
It's not-
I think you've done a good job.
yeah.
Yep. It comes with a metal ruler with
really nice ruler.
inches on one side and centimeters on the other, if you're in the mood for metric. I'm always in the mood for metric, to be honest. There is a whole bunch of... Oh, here we go. A whole bunch of paints of various colors. There is some glue. So this is made for XPS foam. And it's essentially, when it comes down to it, it's essentially PVA glue or wood, white glue. So that is cool to have there because that's what you use to glue the XPS foam together. As well as some of those colors, we have the dungeon base and the cavern base paints. These are obviously in a larger brush, so larger bottle.
Larger bottle.
They're in
Yeah.
larger bottles because you'll be using quite a bit of these to paint all of this surface area. But the big thing that's in the box, or the cool thing that's in there, is this terrain primer. So normally, XPS foam, or even, so XPS is extruded polystyrene. EPS is expanded polystyrene. That's the stuff that's like the little bubbly balls.
Yeah.
And makes a mess if you try and like.
It does show
sand it.
your name, Wyatt.
Oh, it's showing it now? Yes. Cool. Yes, but this has been formulated so that it will not eat away at the foam. If you were just going to get a regular can of spray, so like...
No, I know what you're talking about because I, for a 4th grade science project, used spray paint to spray foam on a volcano.
Yep.
That didn't work.
No.
No, it
Was
made
it-
a really cool texture effect, though.
Yeah. Yep. It can, definitely. I think it's good, like, it can be fun to do that on chunks of XPS foam to make asteroids for spaceship games. That's a cool thing to do. But if you don't want that to happen, if you want a nice smooth surface for you to do your painting on, this has been formulated for it. So I think the Army Painter are going to, over the next 6 months or so, release a series of these. But this one is Dungeon and Subterrane color. So it's a very dark, so slightly greenish gray. Gray.
Oh, okay.
It's a dark
It
gray
is
with
really
a
a
tinge
gray.
of green.
Okay. It's a gray.
That's a gray.
Okay.
Yep.
Because it kind of looks black.
Yeah, it's almost black,
Okay.
but it's not quite black.
That's fair.
Actually,
There we go.
so you can see it there. The lid here is black. And it does look very close to it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a pretty neat thing. But that's one of the other cool things that you get in there. You also get a knife with the retractable blade, and you can snap off those blades as they dull. So along the way, be careful when using that. And the other cool thing is a hot wire foam cutter.
Huh.
So you get the hot wire foam cutter. You don't get the two C-cell batteries. Yep. You don't get those two with it, so you're going to pick those up yourself. But I'm just going to do a quick sample cut here. So I just hold the little trigger down there, just complete the circuit.
It looks like a taser. Huh.
Oh, wow.
That's really nifty.
I'm not sure if the camera is picking up the little whiffs of smoke.
No, we got the smoke. Yep.
But yeah, then it's...
Ooh.
So you take it off, and then fairly quickly afterwards, it's cool to the touch. And in there, you get there's a little packet with I think there's like 5 or 6 wires.
Oh, that's really nice.
Because sometimes, if you're a little bit overzealous, you might snap that wire because it's super thin. But yes, so you can use the wire to cut the foam along those lines if you want. Although the steel ruler and the knife blade are going to be better for sharp edges. But I think later on we're going to make some caverns,
Yeah.
cavern edges, so this will be good for that. And I think we'll hand this over to Gretchen to use
Oh.
because it's the organic shapes.
Oh, yes.
And we know that you prefer to
I do prefer organic shapes. I have to think, if this is going to be a bistro, I have to think how best we're going to dungeonify this bistro.
Dungeonify the bistro?
Yeah, how's that going to... Because I
That's a good
assume that
question.
you'd run into it in the dungeon. Like, in my brain...
Yep.
How I envision this is like the players are walking along and it's a super scary dungeon, and then out of nowhere, it's Goristo's Bistro.
Right.
And they're like, the DM's just like, perception check.
Is it like they find their way down a long corridor,
Yeah.
and there's traps and all sorts of things, and they get to the end, and there's
And
a
then they
nice
smell pastry.
there's a nice set of French doors.
Yeah. And they walk in, it's like, oh, hello, travelers. You've made it.
Welcome to Greastro's Bistro.
Bistro. Yes, this is the, if you keep going down on the left, you run into the dungeon gift shop, but don't worry about that now. It's fine.
Yep. Just keep moving.
Yeah.
So, yeah, super cool. But that's what it's all about. That paint is a nice addition. It definitely is. And the foam cutter is nice. Jason says that handheld foam cutter might be worth the price of the whole thing. And yes, don't breathe in the smoke. Best used in a well-ventilated area. So we won't use a lot of it, and we'll probably put our masks on for it.
Yeah. I can turn the air on.
Pardon?
Do you want me to turn the fans on?
The extractor fans?
No. We don't have
I was going to say, where are those hidden?
That could be good. All of a sudden, I've got that sense of there's that scene in the movie The Rock, with Nick Cage and Sean Connery, where they're dealing with the sarin gas. There's big extractor fans, and I think it'd be like that.
A little bit.
I'll be disappointed if it isn't. Anyway, so yeah, I think we're gonna. You've got that as the floor.
That is the floor. It's a
Yep.
beautiful tile floor currently. Whether
and
it stays that way is...
Yeah. But we've just done the standard 1 inch by 1 inch squares, which in miniature scale would be like in 28mm miniature scale would be roughly 5 feet. Oh, there is a fan. It'll just blow air across. So this would be roughly 5 feet. So 2 squares, 2 by 2 is 10 foot by 10 foot. So now we can work out how big we want to make our corridors and all sorts of fun. And I think what I might do as well is where I built this by stacking layers of foam to get so that it was going to be solid when I cut those little alcoves out. I think I might just turn a piece of foam up on its side and
yeah.
draw in these bricks so that we've got a flat surface as well. Because something like this I think could work fine on the edge of Greastro's Bistro.
Oh, yeah, I think that could look great on Christmas Bistro.
Excellent. But I think we're going to work on building things today and gluing some things, and then next week we'll have primed the stuff and then we can paint it. And when I say we've primed the stuff, it'll be Leona. Maybe?
Does it come with a
Yep.
ball of aluminum foil? I can say words.
Aluminum foil.
Aluminum.
Aluminum. It does not come
Aluminium.
with aluminium foil. I think that's how they say it in Denmark, where the army painter guys are from. It does not come with that, but that is a good thing that you can use for texturing the surface of your foam.
I have rocks, but they're in my car.
Oh. I brought a
literally
rock,
picked up
and it is
rocks.
not in my car.
Oh.
I think I showed this last time when I brought in the other one. But yeah, this is like a chunk of concrete from.
I gotta make fancy doors. I gotta make the fancy doors.
Gonna make the fancy doors. Oh, cool!
Yeah.
Excellent. Are you gonna carve those out?
I guess so.
That'd be sweet. Nice. Actually, yeah. If you do that, if you did like a fancy sort of like an archway,
Yeah.
and then like carved wooden doors in there.
Yeah. And
We
then make
can,
a cute little sign that I can just pin in there.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
You should definitely do that. That's what we're going to do. But yes, you can use this, or you can use something like a crumpled up, like a really tightly packed crumpled up ball of aluminum foil to push into the surface to create some cool texture. And if you just do it randomly
Do you
and
want me
use
to,
different
Gretchen,
parts.
do you want me to run and get the rock from my car?
I opened up the page.
Oh, okay.
I can find things for texture.
Okay.
Here you
I have things.
I've already just
I
massacred
have
that piece. so-
creativity.
There we go. So yeah.
That is really cool.
Oh, Wyatt says, need some barrels for that bistro. Actually, I can imagine that
Yeah.
they would be the tables.
A rustic kind of, like, this is like indie coffee that's
Oh, yeah.
being served here.
Oh, very much so.
Like a French press
They roast it
style.
out the back.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's in-house.
Dragon roasted coffee. Without a doubt. So, yeah, that's definitely the way that would work. I have no doubt. Oh, Lucafio's here. Howdy all, just popping in to say congrats to the new missus.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, last Saturday, yeah?
Yeah, the 28th.
Last Saturday. Gretchen got married for the first time.
I like how you make it sound like there'll be more time.
My wife, who is my first wife, I'm her
Tegan,
first husband, she
I
often
mean-
says to me, "You're my favorite husband."
To be fair, there's some people that would argue that I was their first wife instead.
Oh, okay. But that was his college, right?
yes,
Yeah.
well.
But yes, congratulations. Are you going with Mrs. Settle?
I'll be a Mayotte eventually.
Right.
I want to figure out all my passport stuff while that's still in limbo before I
Right, get that sorted
before I
first.
Change your
make it
name.
more complicated.
Yeah.
We're gonna make it less complicated first, and then we'll go back and be like, all right. So I'll be a settle for a little while longer.
Right. Excellent.
Yeah, eventually I'll be a Mayotte.
That's because that's her husband's last name. Not because it's just a random word. That we should explain. But that's
You
cool.
don't know. I could always just choose a random.
You could.
We could have just gone and been like, okay, well, we're feeling this name now.
Yep.
I'm always a
Okay.
fan of like, go by who has the cooler last name. That didn't work in either of our cases.
Right. I have a friend whose last name was Theobald.
That's
A married lady whose last name was Bella. So they hyphenate and they both, so it's Theobald Bella.
Betsy. That's a good idea, though.
Primarily so they could be Mr. and Mrs. TV. I know, it's crazy, right?
Like from Willy Wonka.
Yeah.
Does the new husband paint as well? Not particularly. He's the one who gifted me the airbrush set that I haven't used yet. But he himself does not paint. He does play like D&D and other like tabletop RPGs though, occasionally.
And he also swords.
And he also swords. That's how we met. We met via sword fighting, as you do.
Yep.
'Cause, you know.
That's how I
If any
met
of
my
you,
wife.
if any of you are out there looking for a wife or a husband, sword fighting. That's the way to do it. That's
It's that intense first impression, right? Somebody comes at you wielding a longsword.
I don't. We've never actually really. We've sparred a little bit, but he's an A-list fighter, and I am not.
Oh, okay. Radio.
So we don't typically get matched in anything for tournaments. I'm going.
That's fair.
I'm gonna grab one of the smaller ones for working for doors and
Okay.
stuff.
Cool.
'Cause I don't want to
Yep.
cut into a big one for that kind of stuff.
For the door bit.
For the door bits.
Nice. Yes. Cool. Oh, look how yours says from
Hyphenation.
Yeah, fiction. Things your name wasn't changed yet. My wife decided to go with. She added my last name to the end of her name, but not with a hyphen.
Okay.
So she was Julie Neal. Now she is Julie Neal Taylor, but it's not hyphenated. Which, I'm not sure if you're aware, is not a social norm. people find it quite confusing.
The only thing I don't mind changing my last name. We discussed it, like who would get whose last name. We tried it with both names. I liked it with his last name more. The only thing I don't like is when people completely forego my name, and they just call me like Mrs. Travis Mayotte,
All right.
and they just like skip over my name entirely. Then I'm like, no.
No, this is not going to work.
Mrs. Mayotte,
And that
fine.
is totally fair.
But like, I didn't just lose my. I didn't marry a fey creature. He might have married a fey creature, but I did not. I did
Excellent.
not give up my name to anyone.
Yep. Okay.
I stole his. That's
That's what it was.
that. Fair and
Excellent.
square there.
Okay. Now I should be doing this on a cutting mat, but because I forgot to bring my cutting mat, I'm just going to hope I don't cut too deeply into the
Oh, do you want,
mass pad beneath.
you want me to double up? I think we have double.
That'll be fine. I'm just taking it slowly, carefully.
Okay.
So depending on how sharp your blade is, if your blade is very sharp, you'll probably be able to do that in one pass. But if it's not as sharp, it will take a little bit of.
Also,
carefully.
Jason said you can also use a pen to draw in cracks in the stonework
Yeah, definitely.
if texturing with the rock gets tiring.
Yeah. So what Jason is talking about there is, so you see over here, we've got some pretty deep cracks with the pushing it with the stone there. But on top of that, so I can just see, I'll draw that in with the pencil so you can see those edges. I can then start to draw that across and have that cracking out. So kind of looks like somebody did like an Iron Man sort of landing or superhero landing. Yep.
Wyatt says cuts in the table just adds character.
Yep, that's what my desk at home will tell you. But fortunately, you'll see there. Look at that. There's a slight line. But yes, when Leona zooms out, you don't even see it. But yeah, so you can do that with the things. I like using a pencil for this. Some folks they'll do a very light pencil line on top, and then sort of cut those channels in with a blade. If you have a larger hot wire cutter, you can do the same thing. You can just like lower it down. But that one's probably the least accurate. Over here,
I knew we had extra ones, so if you want.
I know it should be fine.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, should be good.
Gretchen, did you want another rubber?
Oh no, I'm good right now.
We're good?
I'm making
They are
doors.
here in case you want to take it to them.
Cool. But yeah, this part here is all about just adding texture and detail and a little bit of extra, so that when you go in and dry brush it later on, it won't be plain and boring. So what I'm going to do now is just slice off these. Pardon me. Unfortunately, these pieces aren't exactly an even number of inches, or even exactly an odd number of inches. There's a little bit left over, so I'm just going to slice that off at the ends. And get ready to make our corridors. Then we'll get onto the bistro wall. Should we have something hanging for the bistro, or leaning up against the bistro wall?
I feel like we should.
Yeah.
I feel like that would make it work. I'm trying to make a door. It's
Hold
gonna
up.
look like a beautiful little door when I'm done.
It does look cool.
Yeah. Like a nice big entry door
It's got
archway.
it's reminding me of the entryway to Moria.
Speak friend and
enter.
and
yeah.
enter. Speak
Speak friend and enter Greastro's Bistro. Sorry to all the Tolkien purists out there.
How well does the foam retain the texture? Different manufacturing sometimes has more spring. This is pretty like solid foam.
Yeah.
It's not bouncy.
Yep. No, it's definitely nice and solid. Just pushing with my thumb and forefinger there. That's squeezing really tight. And there's only a slight indentation in it. You can kind of see
You
it
really
there.
need to use something like a tool to.
Yeah, you
Make
definitely
it-
need to use a tool to sort of indent it. Of course, you'd use your thumbnail.
Your thumbnail.
But yeah, that rock that I had before, when you can put your full weight on it and mash it around, and you've got some.
Yeah, this is
Extra
definitely
points.
like if I just
Yeah.
it doesn't really do too much. That's not anywhere on the screen. I will retry them on the screen where people can see.
There we go.
Alright, so like if I go this, you can see there's tiny little indents, but I really, if I want to get like to rough it up, I have to
Yep.
like that's where a small fight apparently happened in the bistro. It's fine. It kind of all the scuff marks are all going in like circles. I feel like that's where all the barrels are.
Right. Nice. Or is that where barrels are rolled out across the?
Yeah.
You know, you
Yeah.
do that thing when you roll the barrel.
That or definitely that's where hoof prints from other patrons.
Sorry, I'm just gonna go back quickly. Where Wyatt said cuts in the table. Its character. I didn't see that Jason had said my wife disagrees.
Yeah, I'd be a little sad if my table had cuts.
Yep. Like I said, I converted an old dining table to do my crafts and paintings. If it gets too many cuts, I break out the sander. Fortunately, my dining room table I made. So if
Oh.
I put too many cuts in it, I can go back and sand it.
I was gonna say, or you can just make a new one.
If anybody else in the family does it, I can complain about it, then sand it and refinish it. But yes. Hi, Josh. You're all a little late, catching up some yard work on this beautiful evening.
The
Very
weather
nice.
is really nice.
It's really
you would
nice here,
never have
yeah.
guessed that yesterday we had tornadoes.
Tornadoes, and torrential rain.
Did you see how? Well, I have friends who live in Philly, but I don't know if you saw, but it like flooded in
Yeah.
Manayunk.
Oh yeah,
It was crazy. I was like, what?
yep. I mean, we got a lot of rain. We got like
We did.
4 or 5 inches over like three hours or so,
Yeah.
which is pretty crazy. But I saw a thing that said that in New York, like in Manhattan, they got 4.5 inches, 3.5 inches, 4.5 inches in an hour, which
That's
is
a lot.
ridiculous. But yeah, absolutely crazy. So hopefully everybody is safe. I'm not sure if we'll be seeing Betsy tonight. Betsy's down in Louisiana, but we hope the Bowers family is all doing well.
Yep, there are plenty of organizations you can look up to go help out with people in Louisiana, southern Louisiana, who are really feeling it as well.
Yeah, definitely. Hi, Gary. Josh says rocks or scrunched up aluminum foil makes good textures. Yep. Jason was mentioning the foil before. Hi, James. Hello. He said, I bought a rolling pin with cobblestones on it from Hobby Lobby. Yep. There's, I think Green Stuff World might make some as well. But something that you'd normally impress into putty, you can probably give it a go on the XPS as well. You might need to push extra hard to get it, the innets in. But I think it would work. Okay, says everyone breaks out in songs. Roll out the barrel. Oh, Jason said, if you have a steady hand, Gary, you can make one from a PVC pipe and a Dremel. Now there's an idea. Carve your own. Like, relief carve your own cobblestone roller. That'd be pretty neat. And... Oh, Wyatt says the fires in California are bringing tons of smoke to his area. Who stays inside? Yep. Grim stuff happening everywhere. Everywhere. So hopefully we can bring a bit of levity tonight with our happy little terrain. Garistro's Bistro. Oh, you're getting stuck into that with a sculpting tool?
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
It's a little bit sharper and finer than the pencil tip.
Yep.
Which I feel like I did a really nice kind of job for getting the stonework in.
Yep.
But I wanted a little bit more control for making wood grain.
Right. Yep.
So.
That makes sense. Cool. Now what I'm doing
I
here...
feel like I'm cleaning teeth, though.
I feel like you're uncovering a piece of...
Archaeology.
like an archaeologist, you're uncovering that doorway. Slowly bringing it out.
I wanted to be a paleontologist when I was little.
Yeah?
I still want to be a paleontologist.
Now that you're taller?
Now that I'm taller than I was. As tall as I'll ever be. I looked at some of like the wedding pictures that not like the professional took, but like other people took of me.
Yep.
And I am in heels, and my husband is, I think he's like just under 6 foot, like
Okay.
5'11".
Right.
And I was like, am I really that? Is this how I look to other people? Like, I'm a 5'3", which is under the national average, but not by much, just by an inch. Like,
I couldn't tell you. I usually see you sitting down all the time. So
I'm tall in spirit. I had someone once be really shocked that I was 5'3", and they told me that I appeared taller. Like online, I guess.
right.
It's like I had the personality of a tall person.
Excellent.
TK says, I'm building a large dungeon rectangle right now with air dry clay. It's definitely been a learning process.
Oh,
Nice.
cool. Excellent. So with the air dry clay, are you using it to create flagstones and then you're linking those all together, or are you carving the flagstones into it? How are you doing that? I'm curious. Because yeah, with some air drying clay, you get a really super solid finish with that. And the fun with thing, as I'm doing this, just sort of, not so much randomly. Obviously, I'm trying to create a stacked brick look, or a stacked stone look. But I'm not making sure that each of the bricks is identical width. And if you want to go really wild and crazy, you can just start messing around with them a lot. And instead of drawing these lines, you could start by just putting down a stone, putting the stone next to it, and the stone next to it.
I see. That's what I kind of did with this because I wanted one not to have to measure anything.
Nice.
I was like, you know what? You don't have to measure like cobblestone stonework.
Yep. One of the things that worries me a little bit though is that sometimes when you start doing that, if you have something like this, and you go, okay, I'm going to put that one there, and then you come along and put that one next to it, and eventually you start to sort of devolve into circles. So I think doing it this way to get it to look good, you need to be paying a lot of attention. But thankfully, you don't need to pay much attention at all for this. But also, if you wanted to use this kit or use these techniques to make like modern buildings, this would be a great
Yeah.
concrete block wall. You just paint it a little bit lighter, or you might even paint a color over it, as if the wall had been painted. But we'll be going with the dark, dank dungeon look.
I really love how you can tell that I've scratched it. You can't see any of the actual texture.
Right.
I promise. It looks like wood grain. Just whatever you think of in your head that looks like pretty wood grain, that's definitely what that looks like.
That's how it looks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's one of those things, like next week, with the paint on it.
But the paint, yeah, this will soak up the paint nice. This will, all
will
that
bring it out.
texture will be worth having
Yeah.
done the things for. I find it really funny though, because if this is the doorway to get into Barista's Bistro, it's definitely like big for a human, but small for Garistro.
Yeah. Grisha would have to duck to get in.
Yes. So it's like.
Well, maybe it was
They
somebody
can.
else's barista. Someone else's bistro before. And Garistro has just taken over it.
Like, not quite human, but not definitely.
Garistro answered the ad on the Facebook Marketplace. Bistro for sale.
All his dreams had come true. He was like, finally.
Finally.
My love of baking.
It looks like TK said, I'm building a large dungeon rectangle right now.
Right.
Oh, whoops. I have a small roller, but I definitely have to clean up with sculpting tools.
And make all
and
the
make
rolls
all
connect.
the rolls connect together.
Yeah, that would be a. I was going to say that would be the tough part, but part of me thinks that would be the exciting part as well.
Making
So,
it work
fun.
together.
Yeah, the just making sure that you like line up the roller, and then if you didn't get it quite right, just doing a little bit of tweaking and nudging with some sculpting tools.
Also, people are talking about how tall they are. Some really tall people here. Josh Potter says, if you want to find sheets of foamed PVC, look in Lowe's or Home Depot ceiling tile sections.
Okay.
Oh, they're
Yep.
great for basing terrain and don't warp like masonite MDF can.
Yep.
James says, I use real wood. Also, hello, Sean.
Oh.
Thanks for joining.
Hey, Sean.
Hello.
Cool. It's
It's a
transdimensional.
trans-dimensional doorway.
There we go.
It expands for each person that gets within 6 feet of it.
Well, that's 6 inches.
6 inches.
Josh said
excuse
6
me.
inches. Is this going to be one of those Spinal Tap issues? I mean, inches or feet? But
You're right, it's inches. I did.
yeah. But yes, you could use balsa wood or popsicle sticks or something like that for the door. But I think that Gretchen is doing a wonderful job there.
I've sculpted a whole beautiful.
Yes.
Just you wait till there's paint on it, and you can see it with your eyeballs. I could probably take a picture of it or put it up on like Twitter or something.
Right. Well, there we go. It's a wall. What did I bring? I brought some. I brought a little wizard there. So there's a tall dungeon room. Or if you have, if you usually have a lot of 10-foot wide dungeon passages, do you think? Or
Yeah, that makes
10
sense.
foot wide, 15 feet wide? I know it's been a long time since I've built one. Could I have a look at that booklet?
You
One sec.
can.
Thank you. So just point this out. This is the How to Build Dungeons and Caverns booklet. So you got a bunch of ideas on the front, and then throughout. It's quite comprehensive.
Yeah,
really.
it's a great little booklet.
It goes through, talks about the all the different things, and through here they have a number of QR codes as well, so you can scan those and be taken to different articles. Well, they have one on doorways.
Oh.
Yep, I'm not going to go and look at it because I'm seeing it right here now, live. But yep, talks about stacking the sections.
I could have read the directions first on doorways, but
That's fine.
I've built IKEA furniture before. So I feel emboldened.
Nice. And in here, there's a QR code for how to fashion a spiked pit.
Ooh. Wonder if
Sounds
they
like a plan.
Toothpicks, maybe?
Create water, so building the scenery. Okay. So yeah, here the corridors they have connecting, oh, there we go. The rooms on their plan are 10 feet wide. So I will go with that. Did you want me to do a little bit of
Ooh, you can.
hot wire stuff, or do you want to do it?
I can try it.
Here we go.
How did he say to use it?
Yep. So see the little that little tab.
Yeah?
Yep.
Just press that?
Yep.
That means it's on?
That means it's on.
Do you want me to get your fan?
Ooh. Oh, that's aggressively easy.
Yep. You gotta while it's in the foam, you should keep your hand down on it.
Yeah, okay. Okay. We're gonna try it.
This is fun to watch.
Fumes are fine.
Where did that other fan go?
That was fun. Like cutting through butter.
Oh. Actually, can I get you to toss that rock back over?
I will hand the rock.
Thank you.
Because knowing me, I will toss the rock and I will hit you immediately in the head.
So I was thinking more it was going to come over here. I'd try and catch it and it would land on my phone. Might have happened that way. Okay. Texture there.
I really like using this. Oh. Oh no. There it is.
Did it die?
No, it came back. This is really fun. This is kind of worth it just for the foam cutter alone.
That's cool.
I'm just having a...
So do inches in game world game world inches. Okay, so 6 squares away, I guess. Oh no, in game world inches. So that way it doesn't register when someone just casually walks by. So you have to walk right up to it.
Yeah.
Get close to it.
That makes sense.
Make it shrink.
I just
Sean says Blood
liked
Bowl
the
pitch.
idea of
Oh,
6
sorry.
feet. I said I just liked the idea of 6 feet.
Yeah, that's a cool idea. Definitely. Sean says Blood Bowl pitch. No, this isn't a Blood Bowl pitch, Sean. But you probably you could definitely build one using it. I don't know what the new size is. I think the new squares are a little bit bigger than an inch on a Blood Bowl pitch.
Took a little chunk out of my stone, but it's fine.
Fine.
Be a beautiful door when I'm done.
How's it look?
It looks like one of those little fairy ones that
How's it
you
look
get
against the wall?
that you get from
Well, you can take the wall.
Did
Put it against it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Looks like one of the little fairy doors that you get from Michael's.
Yep.
I can cut it shorter.
Except in its scale, it's much larger than that.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
bistro for giants.
Because you
No,
could
it looks cool.
you could always make like parts around the top of the door that kind of attach to the other part of the wall if you wanted,
Right.
you know?
Yep.
Wyatt says, I have a special book called Terrain Essentials.
Oh,
Not
cool.
sure if you've heard of it.
I haven't. Is it good? Where can people get it from? You can tell people so it doesn't look like I have
From your friendly local game store.
to. For your friendly local game store. Indeed. And your friendly local game store can get a copy of Terrain Essentials from Alliance.
Alliance.
Game
If
distributors.
they're in the US.
Yep, Alliance in the US and Warlord in the rest of the world. Warlord Games. So,
Because they're warlords of the world.
the Warlords of the world. Any of the Warlords. They all have stock.
Jason was asking, I came in a little late. Does the kit come with any washes, mini washes, shades? So yes.
It does. It does is your
It
answer
actually
there.
comes out with a lot, or what I would consider a decent
Yep.
amount.
So, basically, you get a can of the terrain primer, which, let me see. So this is mine. This is the one that I've used to create all of this. So making that the board and the walls and all of that stuff. I've probably used about maybe about a third of a can, just going by weight. So that's really good. Then you get the dungeon base or the cavern base. I didn't use much of the cavern base. I think I mixed some of it into this to give it a little bit of a brownish tint. And, pardon me, I probably used about a quarter of this pot for the dry brushing on mine. And then, where are the other colors? Got them right in front of me here. The dungeon highlight. I didn't use much of that at all. The dungeon effects. It's called dungeon effects, but it's basically like a final dry brush highlight, and you just really will not use much of that at all. Shade wise, there is the subterranean wash that has a little bit of a sort of a greenish tinge to it. You get the brink black, so that's for painting the edges black, or anything that you need to paint black. But most people like to paint the edges of their scenery with a black kind of thing. You get the cavern highlight, you get the cavern effects, which is the high dry brush for the cavern stuff, and you get grotto slime, which is a great, much more vibrant green. It's a bit more like a wash, but yeah. So in there, really, you only get the one wash, the subterranean wash there, because a lot of it is focused on dry brushing. So if you did want to do some, if you'd rather work with washes, so start with a lighter color, or you need to want to put some washes back into it, I would recommend picking up some larger, like matte medium or something like that, that you can get from Liquitex, companies like that, and then mix that in with some of the browns or whatever base color you'd like to make a wash look like. So that'll be like a cheaper way to get lots of wash. But really, if you're doing a lot of dry brushing for these, you don't really need to use that much. And you'll have plenty of it in the set. So there we go. We have some corridors. You can make a very long corridor. All the way over to Greaster's Bistro from this side of the table.
I need little like tile arrows that just.
All right, yeah. This is a long corridor. Be fantastic. So yeah, and if you want to, of course, you can cut these a little bit shorter, cut them into smaller bits, so you can lay them in between your rooms. What was one of the other things? Oh, we talked about doing a cavern.
Yeah.
Should I do it? Should I start cutting a cavern now?
I think you should.
Okay. And then what I was thinking as well is I might come back and we'll glue together some stuff for a set of stairs.
Ooh.
So we'll show you how to do that. It's pretty straightforward. I'm just going to reach over and grab that wire cutter. There we go.
I'm gonna keep texturing this up on the stone on the sides. I don't think we really need to see the back of the door because it's just gonna be like.
Yeah. That's cool.
And then I'm gonna take some of that sandpaper and kind of smooth everything up a little bit and clean it up.
I'm going to look in the booklet for a little bit of inspiration on the shape of this cavern.
Hopefully Hannah invested in a shop vac.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I think that it'll end up just attaching itself to my shorts, which are black. So it's usually the way. But okay. Yep. I'm going to do this and start just sketch out a bit of a random cavern shape on the edge here. I am going to leave one side of it mostly flat so I can line that up flush against another piece to make a bigger cavern.
I do appreciate your thoughtfulness in this.
Yeah?
The exact opposite of, I'm gonna make a door. That'll be the only thing I work on for the next 2 hours.
I didn't know you were going to work on that for the next 2 hours.
I hope not.
Okay.
I hope I come up with more fun things to...
Well, you can make like a little bar.
I could make a little bar.
Yeah. And these little
Do I
bits
make
of
it
foam.
human-sized, or do I make it Garistro-sized? Or do I make it this in-between size that was apparently the previous owners?
That makes everybody uncomfortable?
Yes.
Yes, go with that. Go with that. It actually just reminded me of a thing with when people make castles, and when I say people, also companies make commercially available castles, and they build them, and they're beautifully done, and then they put you put dwarves in them because they've made them for human-sized models. Typically, the dwarves look like a little bit out of place, out of scale. They can't see over the parapets. So you have that sort of problem. And so the way that that's usually fixed is by building like a wooden step.
Yeah.
You put the wooden step up along so then the dwarves can step onto the wooden step and see out over the parapets. And it's like, they're dwarves. They probably built this castle. Why don't you just at least give them a stone step, please? So, here we go. I do have the fan going. So it's going to blow all towards our monitor over there.
Yeah. I can turn it up if you want.
No, it's all good. I can't even see any smoke. Now I'm going to do this in sections because I just realized that I was moving rapidly towards my hand. With a very hot wire.
Let's not have a
Trip to the emergency room today?
yeah, let's not do that.
That would be a good idea.
Trust says, I hear that Garistros has a deal on squig salami subs on Freytag, and their BMT bacon, mutton, and tomato sandwiches are one of the 9 wonders of the realms.
Cool. Oh, sorry. Just going back up. Jason mentioned currently crafted a couple of docks with coffee stirrer sticks. Had to texture the wood to add grain as you couldn't see it when painted. That can be a bit of a problem. One thing that you can do that is mentioned in that book that Wyatt talks about there, Terrain Essentials, is if you do have something like popsicle sticks or coffee stirrers or even balsa wood, I guess, if you want to accentuate the grain on the wood, you can get a like a wire bristled brush and run that along the grain, and it will just sort of score some extra channels in there and accentuate it so that when you paint it, either put a wash over it or you paint it and dry brush it, that texture will stand out a little bit more.
I'm getting covered in styrofoam.
Covered in foam?
It's fine.
Did you just sand it? You sand some of the foam?
I did.
That's one of the other things. Comes with some sandpaper,
It does.
making things nice and smooth.
And it made the stone texture very lovely, and it almost ruined my wood texture, but not particularly, so we're good.
Okay, cool.
Made a little window, but instead of like just drawing a window, I was like, I'm gonna actually make it a window. That was a bad idea,
Excellent.
but Actually, it wouldn't be a bad idea if I could put something else in it. Like if I had resin or something, or like I feel like you could do cool stuff.
Right.
I don't know if that would make a chemical reaction with the foam on second thought, because I've never used that.
It
But
might. It might. You'll have to experiment. One thing that you can do as well is if you need to do some sanding, is you can take. So this is some of the sandpaper from the kit. It is I think a 120 grit. So pretty good. Not too fine, but also not too coarse. You can just wrap it around a piece of the foam to give it a nice sort of solid look to make a sanding block. And you can see on the edge here, it's a little bit, it's a little odd sort of shapes that occasionally you get with the hot wire cutter. So I'm just going to go along and sand that down a little bit to smooth that out. There we go. And if you've got little sort of ragged bits along the edge there where you've cut, just a quick sand along there will make that nice and smooth and even for you. Ta-da! Yeah, check it.
beautiful.
That's awesome.
Obviously, with this, it's tough to make a wall that runs alongside it.
That's where we'll just stick the door.
Yep.
It's fine.
But your other option there is if you have your oh, where'd it go? Oh, I cut it all up into the corridors, didn't I? Silly me. But if you have your sort of floor setting, you can cut walls like that.
Oh.
And if you want to, you can stack them up. Or if you want to keep it and do sort of layers with the still have the grid on there, you can just cut them out, glue them on, start to build them up. So at the
I
moment
didn't
we've got
even
lots
realize.
of stuff. on the desk.
It's 8 o'clock.
It's
Would
8
you
o'clock?
like to
Oh wow.
look at some minis?
We should definitely
from
look at
the
some
grid?
names.
Yeah. It always amazes me how like time happens on this show.
The crazy time dilation.
Yeah.
Well, and it's kind of nice. It's a change of pace. I feel like this episode's a little bit more relaxed. you
Yeah.
know? It's just kind of
Arts and crafts.
Yeah. But
It
it's
does,
cool.
It does have a very arts and craft feel.
All right. So these are miniatures from our Facebook group.
Yep.
And for those who, many of you are part of it, but if you're not, we have a Facebook group called Painting Happy Little Minis, and you can join and post what you've been working on. And so that's what we're going to take a look at right now.
Yep. Excellent. Okay, cool. So first up we have Betsy Bowers with the Deathbringer and Corruptors from Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh, that's cool.
Metallics are difficult to photograph. They are. They can be very tough because sometimes you get a lot of reflection, sometimes you don't get much. I'm guessing that those that across the top of that Deathbringer is a like it looks like tinny tin.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say that it's tin tin, but it looks with that dark bronzish sort of color. But yeah, these look really cool. I like those. Particularly loving the basing.
Oh yeah.
How cool is that basing?
It blends right in with the board game.
Yep. Yep. Betsy, I think you're doing an excellent job on these. Really, really enjoying seeing your Horizon Zero Dawn stuff. Nice work. Oh, Chris has painted up Mortarion. Ooh, this is a very spooky Mortarion. I think
It's almost spooky time.
it's almost spooky time. It is. It is.
Countdown begins.
Only 2 months away.
Get your minis ready.
Yep. I'm growing out my hair, as you can see. It's getting that crazy mad
You have to
scientist look like I do
Think about
each year.
costumes, yeah.
I'll probably be a crazy mad scientist. Maybe I'll have to do something different this year. maybe something different. But no, Chris, I think, yeah, you've done a very cool job here. Whenever we look at Chris's work, I always mention the pop of color he's going for. But on this, it's the tonal pop. So it's those wings and the smoke, the thing that's lifting out there. But it means that things like the highlights on the green armor really stand out. So you've got those on the edges of those knee pads down there between the black robes, and also on the shoulders there around where the spikes are erupting from the armor. Yeah, looks very cool, Chris. Looks nice. I've got one of those guys built, but not primed yet. On my way. Clive has penned up this Dwarf Rogue from Reaper Miniatures. Looking very cool there. When I say that because he's looking a little bit chilly. That very pale skin with the purple is giving him that almost like an ice dwarf kind of.
Yeah.
He spent a lot of time out in the elements. But yeah, looking good. Love those little axes on the on his belt as well. But yeah, it definitely has that rogue feel. Nice one, Clive. Good work. Gavin has finished a unit for a friend of their Hounds of Terror Space Marine chapter. He's looking very cool. Those Thunderhammers look great. I love the fade on those hammers. I'm not quite seeing on the front. I think there's a little bit of a sheen on the edge of the hammer, so it's not showing through too well. But the hammer behind, you can see.
Oh yeah, you see the green a lot more.
Yeah. So I definitely think that's very cool. Nice work there, Gavin. I think done a great job on that. And that gold looks really nice too. Very sweet.
Some terrain for our terrain episode.
Woohoo! Nicely done, Leona. And nicely done, Jason. Jason's done a bit of terrain from
I
Town
would
Builder.
live in a cottage like that if I could, and it had air conditioning.
Yeah.
But the aesthetic outside of that, I would plant more flowers. I would do a little less like Witch in the Woods, a little more fairy tale. That's still a little Witch in the Woods, but that's fine.
Yeah.
That's
Okay, but not like,
like friendly, like less Baba Yaga and more
Disney.
Yes.
Okay, right, yeah. More Disney on it.
Like
I get you. I know what you're saying. I understand it. But no, I think Jason's done a very cool job here. I'm guessing Town Builder do 3D printing files. That's what I'm thinking. I think there might be that here. But it's looking very cool. I like that you got those stacked stone steps up there. We'll be doing a little bit of a staircase in a moment. So once we finish this, so keep these in mind. It'll only be 2 squares across though, not the 3. But no, nice work, Jason. I think it looks very cool. Oh, JT. Yeah. Wow. Kargath by Comet Lord Miniatures. It's very cool, isn't it?
it's like the hero pose.
It's a great hero pose, yep. But very nice. No, I love, there's a couple of things I love about this. One of them is that the tattoo work is just amazing. Just really nice, super fine, excellent detailed work there.
I like how it echoes that patterning on the armor as well.
Yep.
Because you kind of get that similar tone of the bronze over the metal on the armor, and then the dark ink against the skin tone.
Yep, where it's got that, the skin has that orangish tinge to it. Yep, that does that nice, that nice balance.
Flows very well.
Yeah, looks very cool. And something as well with some of the other photos that JT posted, the black background is really sort of setting these guys off. So I'm not sure, JT. Just fun fact: the tattoo was modeled after my own on my arm. Huh. I would not attempt to do this one. It's a little bit too involved. But this one though, I could probably do.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I think
Mine's
I've painted a
easy.
bunch of those before. But yeah, no, I think that looks great, JT. Question I was going to ask is, Did you photograph this on a different background and then clip it out and stick it on black? Which is something that I've done before because I really struggle to photograph on black. So I'm very curious. I have a friend who does it on like black velvet.
Yeah.
So it just soaks up all of the rest of the light, so there's nothing reflected from the lights that you need to get that sort of detail
good
on the
idea.
miniature. It is neat, but very cool. Nice work, JT. Looks great.
Oh, it's on a black background.
Oh, done on a black background.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just a terrible photographer. Is what it comes down to. I haven't put in enough time to get it right. But Kelly has painted up a Reaper Bones Rumag Davel Thief. We've got a bit of a thieving
Yeah.
theme tonight. Well, it's the second one, but we very rarely have two rogues in the same time.
I like all of the textures on the different kinds of leather.
Yep. That's like the trim around the
The boots and the kind of protective armor belt thing. I don't know what that's called.
See, if they were thinner and towards the center, I would call them patauges, but I don't know what these ones are called. But we're talking about the same bits.
Yes.
We are. So the black bits with the brown bits around them. So,
Looks good. The bits
yes.
look good.
You've done a great job there, Kelly. Looking super cool. And the way that you've done the hand holding the dagger there, it just immediately reminded me of Kevin Dallymore, who is a painter who does a lot of stuff for North Star Miniatures, who do the minis for Frostgrave and that kind of thing. But it's definitely that great. It's a very interesting style. It's like a classic painting style. But yeah, nice work, Kelly. Looks great. Sorry, JT says lighting is hard. It is. It is very hard. Kelsey is painted up Nagash, Supreme Lord of the Undead. Now this is super cool. Yep.
So many spines.
So many spines. All of the spines that were ripped out of corpses to...
Well, you have to, if it's for fashion,
Oh, it's important.
for belts.
Yep. But no, I think Kelsey's done a great job here. I love the use of the red as that sort of trim color on the armor, and I could have been tempted to take that skull that's on the shoulder and just paint it bone as well, or maybe do the whole shoulder pad as a silver or a metallic armor kind of thing. But I'm loving that it's got that great red there. It's looking very cool because that's balancing
Really
really
helps
nicely.
draw the eye.
It does, yeah. It's balancing really nicely against the blue green of the spirits that are floating around. Yeah, I think you did a great job there, Kelsey. Looks awesome, and that model is huge as well. It's like that tall. Big. Oh, Drew just painted up his female Space Marine captain for his custom chapter, the Spears of Ouroboros, which is super cool. This is very nice. I think that I'm not sure if there's a mix of camouflage spotting or if this is all like weathering and damage.
So I think it's a mix of camo and what looks like maybe a little blood splatter.
Blood splatter? Oh yeah, there's some blood splatter. There's a mix. There's a mix of stuff there. But no, I think this is very cool. The 28 mag, 28-mag.com, the crew that do a lot of stuff on Inquisitor 28 sort of style, all the grim dark stuff, have been running a competition for the last few months to create female Space Marine models. So yeah, this is a very cool interpretation here. I think Drew's done a great job on it. And the Ouroboros is the snake
eating itself,
yeah, which is super cool. I only found that out like in the last couple of months. I knew the word and I'd seen the symbol, but I just didn't know they belonged together until just recently. But yeah, nice work, Drew. She looks great. Oh, Philip Dickerson.
Is this like a little samurai salamander?
It does. It has a salamander feel, doesn't it? That head shape. It's
Is
got
he a
that going on.
frog? I don't. He's so
I think-
cute.
I think it's hunched over.
It's hunched
with the
over,
sword.
so I can see his head, and it's cute. I just can't tell from his body since it's behind a log
Right.
whether or not he's a little ninja samurai salamander, which I like the alliteration there,
Yeah.
or frog. Either way, I love him.
Yep. It is super cool.
And the basing's so cute.
Yep. Yeah, it is awesome. I love
It's all
the.
bright colors in it. Oh, I love it.
It's great.
The shading on the head really makes it look like flat and damp, for lack of a better word.
Yep. Well, a better word is moist, but let's
Splat.
keep going.
I think that's Ninja from the village hidden in the pond.
Yep.
He does have the headband.
But no, I think it looks great. Love that. Yeah, I think the posing on the miniature is maybe a little bit awkward, but I really like Philip's.
I think he's sneaking over the log, which is why it looks awkward from this angle, because this
Yeah.
angle you get to see all the shading on the head the best for photography. But I think if we were able to turn the mini,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
we would...
I
It's a
think
salamander! I was right!
it's a salamander.
Yes!
Woohoo! Excellent. But yeah,
Very hard to
Oh.
get good pics with the way it's posed. Yeah, I think you chose the right angle for this, because you can see all the shading on the head,
yep.
and you could see all of the details on those lily pads and whatnot with the different shades of green, so it really gives kind of depth to the water. It makes it look like they're floating on top.
Yep. No, great work, Phil. Very nice. Very nice. Oh, Sebastian, painted the last finished model right off the paint table, Corvus Rook from Malifaux. When Sebastian posted this, there's another picture with it, with a couple of other models from the, I'm assuming from the Corvus Rook box set. But I wanted to mention this first before we talk about the mini, but the basing, they all had the railway basing, so the sleepers and the rails, and it just looked cool. Really tied them all together. It looked awesome. But yeah, I think Sebastian's done a great job here. I was going to say as well, I love that the model is straightening the tie. It's a very particular moment when you straighten a tie. But particularly when if your sleeves are rolled up and you've got gloves to make sure your hands don't get hurt when you're beating
Oh, yeah.
somebody up. But yeah, looking great. Love the texture on the pants as well. What about you, Gretchen? What's your favorite thing?
I think my favorite thing is the tiny, tiny little dots of highlights on the glasses.
I knew you were going to say that. Yep. Yep. I agree.
And
And actually, just looking at the
Yeah.
way that my head is tilted at the moment on the screen. Look
you
at
have tiny, tiny little dots.
tiny
I think
little
it's
dots
a
on my
small
glasses.
detail that is easy to forget,
Yep.
but I think that in this, particularly in this instance, it gives you direction. It helps you realize where he's looking as well,
Yep.
because it gives that reflection, so it doesn't, it flows with all the other light directions of the piece, so.
Yep.
Yeah.
Excellent work, Sebastian. Looks great. Oh, Seth. Seth painted up. He's painted some more blood letters. I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago. We were looking at one of Seth's blood letters, and he had a sword, and I was like, "Oh, I love the sort of black, very dark iron kind of look." And like a couple of hours later, Seth sent me a photo, and the sword was blue, and I was like, "Oh, it didn't look blue to me on the screen. I'm sorry. I should have said it was blue." And it was like, "Oh no, I've been working on it this morning." So it was a black undercoat that we saw. He had a blue blade to it. But yeah, this guy's looking really cool. Those the bright yellow eyes with and the purple tongue there, the great combination. Add those two together. And I love the work on the base too. That it's great Martian red kind of color. But yeah, nice work. Looking good. Oh, Sean has painted up Warhammer Underworlds, The Dark Pageant. So this is the Slaneshi warband for Warhammer Underworlds. These are looking very cool.
I like all these pastel colors together.
Yeah.
I feel like you don't typically see pinks and purples and blues kind of in the same color scheme all the time.
Very rarely. Yeah. Unless you're playing Slanesh. Then you get it all. Then you get a lot of it. But no, I think you're right. Those nice pastels, and I think the so obviously on the minis there are a lot of the pink and the purple, and that pale pink and pale purple. But then the little blue tinge to the rocks just really adds that nice little edge to it. And I love that that sand look. I think you picked a great color for the basing there, and the gold work as well. Nice work all around, Sean. Very cool. Those are some nice models. Oh, and Wyatt. Wyatt, sorry.
Stepmother Abomination Zombicade Invader.
Zombicide Invader.
Zombicide. I can read words. It's in cursive.
And it's grey against grey background.
I'm like squinting.
That
One
does
day
look
I'll
great.
come in with glasses and you'll all be like, Gretchen, you finally did it.
Yes. But yeah, loving the look of this. This is a really wild mini. Super crazy. I think my favorite part is on where those tentacles sort of transition from the body into the tentacle proper. That grey into the magenta kind of tone there. It looks really cool. I think that's my favorite part there.
Is it highlighting on the tentacles to give them that kind of like wet look, or is that a glaze?
Or a technical paint, like a gloss
Yeah.
varnish or something like that. I don't know. I think there's the highlighting on there, but I think that that there might be something that's accentuating that. So you have to let us know, Wyatt. Is there a gloss varnish?
There's a gloss varnish.
Well done. Well done.
My eyes are holding out. I can't
Yeah.
read words, but I can figure out if stuff is a salamander and if stuff has a gloss varnish.
Words are not important.
Just no words.
Words are not important. Reading not fun.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
No worries.
No. But no, I think that's my favorite part there. From the drier, more sort of elephantine skin into the tentacles. Great job. And that face.
It's a good face.
With the spikes around it, frames it really nicely. But yeah, it's super scary. Nice work, Wyatt. Looks great. That's it for now. Until next week.
Until next week. Thanks to everyone who posted and submitted minis. It's always fun to see what people are working on.
Definitely good. Good fun. Okay, so I'm going to make a staircase.
I'm gonna try to make a bar. I'm gonna maybe make a bar. I don't really know.
Oh, do you need? I have some spare foam over here. Or you got some spare? You good?
I got a
Plenty.
whole little.
Yeah, plenty.
I'm not doing the other side of the door. Wherever I put this, you're just gonna.
I'd go up against the wall.
Yeah,
That's okay.
that's fine.
That makes sense.
We don't
Love
need
that.
to see the back.
You love that sound? We just have a whole ASMR episode. Just like that? Think we should do it? Leona says yes. The next half hour, just the scraping sounds. So yeah, just tidying that up a little bit along the edge. And then, so I'm going to cut off. Oh,
Wyatt says, with lockdowns and staying inside, it's nice to have a way to share our hard work. Yeah,
it is.
it
very
is
definitely.
really fun. Definitely, if you are not part of the group, I think most people watching are. And so
think
it is
so.
fun to see people, what they're working on, and
All right, can I
Yep.
see the foam cutter?
Sure. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay.
Can I hold
guess
it?
You want to use it? Hang on. There we go. Oh. So there we go. So just slice those up. And now we can use some of the, actually grab it from here, some of the XPS foam sculpting glue. I think the idea with this is that if you were to glue together a whole stack of things like this, for example, that you are able to cut through it with the hot wire cutter. So it's all good. One of the cool things as well is that it has a very, very fine tip. You can see that against the thing. So for applying the glue, you get to put it exactly where you need to. It says he not be able to get some of the glue out. Oh, that's why.
Oh, is there a tip in there?
There's just a little bit of glue dried in there. So, of course, it's not going to work for me either. I need to probably poke that with a pin or something. Let's try this one. I like you cut the cheese. In case y'all were wondering. Okay, so I just cut a little slot into there. So it looks like a stack of stone. And there we go. First step. And of course I went to, immediately after talking about cutting that little slot in there, I forgot to do it on that one.
No.
We can come back and do that at the end. There we go. Something you can see, we'll maybe see, yeah, there we go, at that angle. You see what I've done there is rather than doing like a circle of glue, I've just done little dabs of it over the piece. Basically what that does is when you put the foam on, maybe something this small, it doesn't matter too much, but if you're gluing larger pieces of foam together, and you made a full circle, as you pushed it down and it starts to cure around the edges, air can't get to the glue in the middle, so it doesn't cure properly. So you won't get as strong a bond as if you just did dabs of it all over the place. So just remember that when you're gluing foam together. But there we go. We have a set of stairs at the end of the corridor. This guy is particularly small. I can't remember where he's from, but we had fun painting him. These are got some other these that we could use for scale instead, that are from the Steam Forged game God Tier. They look pretty neat. That size there. And I think I'll cut these into, I might cut this one in half. There we go. Should put the lid back on.
I feel like it's gonna be such like a fun thing around like the holiday season.
Right, instead of doing gingerbread houses, like making dungeons.
You know, I tried to make dungeon gingerbread last time, and I have to say, so far, this is much easier.
Right, it's been much more successful for you.
Yeah.
Okay. There we
A
go.
lot less engineering going on.
With this?
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Than with gingerbread.
Foam to other pieces of foam. And you think you might be moving the piece around a bit before the glue is fully cured, is you can use skewers or toothpicks, that kind of thing. And you can see these little holes in the top here. So here, here, here. They're just areas where I pushed toothpicks through while the glue was drying. So hold it in place and make it really nice and stable. Unfortunately, I forgot to bring them tonight. So we will just have to hope for the best. Yeah, sure. On camera, there we go.
James says we are locking up at times.
Are we?
Oh, no.
The feed is locking up? My apologies. I don't know what's going on there. A little glitch in the matrix.
Yeah, I think it might just be...
Might just be something like that.
Yeah, I think it's the internet. Yeah, it was just some storm here.
That's
Yeah,
the
for some reason it's saying that, like, on the computer the internet is fine, but then when it's going to restream, it's not fine.
Oh, okay.
So I'm sorry about that, guys.
Sorry, folks.
From our end, like, there's not a lot that I can do, except to wait for it to reconnect. Is it them? I keep getting potato quality. Yeah, I think we have had a couple storms coming through, so it was clear today, but
No.
potentially things are still being worked on.
Okay.
Okay.
All
We
these
got
pieces here.
Tiniest little bar.
Hmm?
Oh, cute.
Do you want a mini to stand next to it?
Sure.
There we go. Okay, these ones are probably a
Oh,
little bit
caught it.
taller. Good job.
Oh, look, it's the perfect size.
Perfect size.
That's right. I can sometimes do things.
Excellent.
See, they come through the really awkward large door that is way too big for them, but they're like demons, so it's fine. But then they see a Garistro and they're like, "You're too big for the door." But the bar's fine.
Enemy
That's-
Garistro is completely ethereal. And he just passes through the doorway without...
He just lavas through the doorway.
He just what?
He lavas.
Lavas?
Yeah.
All
He's
right.
blah, 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 blah.
He's not allowed to leave because of all the doors that he's destroyed.
Yeah.
Okay. That's it. There we go. So,
Bye, Roger.
have-
Thanks for joining.
oh, bye, Roger. Cool. Oh, we didn't have Roger's final mini.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to grab it. We'll grab it next week.
Next week.
Next week, Roger. I'll grab your final
Sorry,
mini.
Roger. So I have 3 corridors of different sizes. I have the staircase. There. I have a kind of cavern room. There. And we have a wall that has buttresses drying on the back of it. When I say buttresses, basically I've just cut some pieces of foam like that. And in the end, I would just help it stand up on its own. When I created these, obviously, I didn't need the buttresses. That looks really good on camera.
It does look really good on camera. It looks really good in person too, but the camera's picking up all the
It's giving it,
the
yeah,
little colors and
yeah, that extra shade. But yeah, so that doesn't need anything sort of holding it up. But, all good. Nice. Tomorrow morning, I'm actually going down to Jeff Hall's place. Jeff, friend of the show, has been on a number of times. They're going to go down to his place, and we're going to be taking some photos of dungeon setups
ooh.
from his Dwarven Forge set, his Warlock set from WizKids, that kind of thing. We're starting the first photography for the book that Jeff and I are working on, which is going to be about painting dungeons.
Amazing coincidence that.
Amazing coincidence. Yep. So, sorry, just quickly. Dave Hummel says, "Good night, folks. Must get dinner ready. Way too much housework to do this week. Wife's birthday this weekend. Happy birthday to your wife, Dave. Hope you have a great time." And Josh asks, how many dwarves can drink themselves under that bar? They're dwarves. They don't. They just drink and drink and drink. Let's keep going. But yes, we are working on a book called, at the moment I don't have a finished title for it. The working title is Painting Dungeons 101. So if anybody has a more exciting title, I'm all ears. Because as you know, I like whimsy. And I'm worried that something that I would swing too hard into whimsy and end up with a title that makes no sense. It doesn't tell you what the book's about. Whereas Painting Dungeons 101 really tells you what it's about, right? So I'm excited to do that tomorrow. I think it's very cool. What should I do with this piece? Should I make like a curvy corridor?
Ooh, yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah. Or should I put a pit trap in it? I think Gretchen likes the idea of the trap.
Kind of like the idea of the trap.
Archer trap. Archer trap. Okay. Let's see what we can do. Oh yeah, we can make a nice room with a trap in the middle. So it'll be 20 feet wide.
I feel like
this is
I'm
so much wider than my
playing
house.
HGTV.
Yeah.
I'm so like sitting here like I'd put this bar in my house. It's fine.
Yeah. They're saying we should get like Joanna Gaines in
Yes.
to help us design this dungeon. How cool would that be?
Elevate our guest status.
Yeah.
How would you shabby
Fantastic.
chic it? Is there shiplap?
Well, if I don't
There's
if,
shiplap behind the the
Yeah.
dungeon walls.
if I don't put the little lines in, we can just leave this as shiplap. Excellent. Oh, do the trap. The bait could be a savory chicken roasting in a spit. But it's an
Ooh.
illusion. That could be a tough one because you need to have three. You don't need to have a visual, auditory, and a like a smell, an olfactory. Visual,
Yeah.
auditory, and olfactory illusion going on to get that completely right. You hear the crackling of the fire, smell the roasting chicken.
See ya, JT. Thanks for joining.
Oh, bye, JT. Excellent. We'll talk about your photography on a black background at another day.
Ooh, this glue ate my phone.
What's that?
So this glue ate my phone.
Oh, yeah. Don't be using super glue on it.
Yeah.
Super glue will eat your phone. Sorry.
So I learned.
Here we go.
I mean, it's definitely glued still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, the yep, super glue will melt it. Polystyrene cement will also melt it. You got to use the like white glue, or in this case, the XPS foam sculpting glue, just in case. Take it just in case. There we go.
I like how nervous you're getting. Like,
Come
oh,
on.
I'm just watching it melt. I'm like, oh. Will it go all the way, or will it?
Okay.
There's foam safe CA glue. That may not have been it. No, it was not.
That's not it. No.
I have.
That glue did not come in the
You
set.
can see the little hole in there.
Does not come in the set.
Yeah, that glue was our glue already on here because he had the glue from the set.
Yeah.
And I was just like, glue. It's glue.
There are many different types of glue.
Glue, glue.
When it comes to foam, you gotta be super careful. It's yeah, it's really just like white glue, wood glue, liquid nails will work, and it's actually pretty good if you've got large chunks of insulation foam, which is XPS as well. Extruded polystyrene. But yeah, a lot of other glues will just eat away at the foam. There we go. Now what I'm going to do, I think, is just cut out a section from the... I just cut out like a 10 by 10 square.
I need like little stools or something.
Maybe this can be one of those situations where there are squares that, like, flagstones on the floor that look like they're trapped.
That's a good one.
But the trap actually is further on.
Right, so she was just showing us what not to do. Yes.
Have you ever wondered what super glue and foam look like?
I was telling Dave before this that the last time I worked with foam was like for a 4th grade science project where I had to make a volcano and I melted it.
Yeah.
So
That should have clued me in. I should have been prepared.
I don't know the rules.
But you're making, are you making more scenery or just, are you making little tables?
I don't know what I want to make. I might make little stools.
I have a feeling that that Mantic make a terrain crate that has, or is
Stools.
making terrain crate that has like.
Go back to work on my door.
Is that good enough to open the door?
It's safe. It's now that I know how to glue things on it. I mean, the world is my oyster.
It is. It is.
Oh, fireplace.
It's all ahead of you. Look at that. Okay. That's. So you'd never even know that this will pop out. You'll plummet to oblivion. Straight into the oubliette. Never escape. Okay. There we go. So you can do that, or if you made these tiles a little bit thinner, you could maybe put some toothpicks across there with some a skewer and have it kind of rotate around the center point. So it folds like that. I think at the moment, I'm just going to leave that there and probably put, maybe do something like a, just paint a square that looks like a vat of acid. You think that would be cool?
I think that'd be very cool.
And then as you fall in, so that gets pushed out, and then the acid sits underneath it.
I like that.
And then when you come running back through, you know not to
Not to jump in the acid.
not to jump in the acid, but go down the side, around the sides. You can do that. But of course, this is where the like the little arrow trap is. As soon as you step on these pieces. So we have that. We've got the corridors. We've got the little cabin type room. And yeah, I know what time we got. 8:42. We still have more foam as well. Should I keep going?
We have so much foam.
Keep going.
Just keep making things.
Keep making things?
This was a whole afternoon, and I feel like you could do this with your kids too.
You definitely could. I
Right.
mean, yeah, you sit down with your with the kids and just make all sorts of stuff. The cool thing as well is, so we've got the, as I mentioned before, we have the Dungeons and Caverns set. Ooh. Dungeons and Caverns core set. There are going to be a couple of other sets that are coming out. I think there's like a Woodlands sort of set where you can use the where it sort of
See, that's my jive. I would paint like a whole woodland scene.
no doubt.
Oh,
No doubt.
yes.
But I think they would show you like tree trunks and hills and stuff like that. There is an ice terrain
Ooh,
one as well.
that could be
Where
really
the
fun.
where the spray, rather than being like the dark gray, greenish gray for the dungeons, it's a like a light blue, so it gives you that glacial sort of feel underneath, and you dry brush with white. There is a desert set as well, I think. It's coming with more of a sandy colored spray. Loads of stuff as well, and I think they will also have additional packs of the foam. This foam's really cool. It's a so it's 1 centimeter, which is, can I work it out? 3/8 of an inch, something like that. Let's go with 3/8 of an inch. I feel that's wrong. I think I've made a mistake. Oh, that's why I've made a mistake. The ruler doesn't have the broken down into the regular fractions of like half, quarter, eighth. It's in tenths. So this is 4/10 of an inch. I think. Anyway. But yeah, you can do, ultimately you can do all sorts of stuff with it. Depending on where your adventuring is going to take you. But I wonder if I should make another wall for the bistro, or just more cabin rooms. Actually, maybe I'll do that. Let's make more cabin rooms with some different layers in there. I think you have the bistro well in hand.
It's just gonna be a single bar with a
Yep.
door.
I think one of the things that we can do as well, Leona, or
Yeah.
maybe rather than we can do, I would ask if you could do it for us, is with some of the spare foam that we have, get you to prime that with some of the like GW Chaos Black,
Okay, yeah.
so that we can see the difference in the finish
Stay down.
of the two paints.
Some of the stuff that you haven't worked on.
Yeah, so like
Oh,
some
okay,
of the
cool.
offcuts
Yeah.
we've got.
Sure.
I think that'd be good,
I don't touch it.
just so folks can see that.
No.
But yes. What are you saying no to over there? What's going on?
My little piece of foam doesn't want to stay down
No.
and glue to the other fit. Very thinly did a small piece of foam because I was like,
Hey.
I'll frame the window.
You're doing a window frame.
It'll look nice.
It will look nice. It will look nice, but that
Um,
seems unnecessarily fiddly. Call me crazy, but this is where something like an air drying clay,
The
like
answer
a
is
gas
yes.
clay or something would.
The-
Yes, it is.
Yes, it's unnecessarily
unnecessarily
fiddly.
Okay, cool.
But
As long as
that's-
we're on the same
It's
page.
not stopping me. We're gonna try it anyway.
Excellent.
It's a fancy doorway. Yeah, clay would be awesome
Yep.
for like all the fine little detail bits. So
Yeah.
I'm not like mucking about with foam for those bits, but yeah, this isn't working. I'm gonna just peel that guy up. This was a handmade window by Bistro himself. It's fine. Garister
Nice.
himself. I could probably paint it to be burnt out.
Oh, like there was a fire in the bistro?
Yeah.
Nice. One thing I did just remember, I think it's on the Army Painters YouTube channel, or definitely in amongst the videos that have been on their Facebook page, you can find a couple of videos, series of videos, where Bo and Jonas, the two founders and owners of the Army Painter, where they both were set a task where they had to build a set of terrain, set of scenery for a Warhammer 40,000 gaming table. So they weren't going through the process of scoring in all of the grid lines to make the floor pattern or anything like that. But they built some buildings, some cool sort of Gothic style buildings. They built some alien looking terrain, some Eldar terrain. Yeah, it looked really very cool. So yeah, definitely check that out if you want to get an idea of different some other things that you can make with the set. I think I'm gonna take. There we go. Something like that, which you can't quite see on the camera.
So we'll just have to trust us.
You will just have to trust us. Where did I put the... There it is. I put the stone over here.
My stone.
It was hiding behind the ruler. So texture. And the next thing. Would I be able to steal that hot wire cutter?
Yes.
Cool. Thank you.
There you go.
And okay.
I appreciate the story that's happening with Garister's Bistro.
Yeah.
Josh is really building a world here.
Yeah. Sorry, I completely
Garister's Bistro has
went off my
a
line there.
St. Cuthbert's Day afternoon special in their brick oven pizza. It's not a coal-fired brick oven. Garister has a fire elemental trapped in the firebox.
That's gonna be how you do it. Yep. Very cool. Maybe that's the next set coming from like Gale Force 9. Will be
Suddenly they get a lot of people requesting cafes.
Yeah. Or just brick oven pizza. Or it's like brick pizza ovens. I guess is the way that should go. There we go. Look at that. Once you get the hang of it, you don't need to do a lot of sanding.
Yeah.
Nice.
You can like a cute little grand entrance here.
And in the middle of this room,
It'll work.
there's a magic portal. Bless you. From it comes a tiny wizard. Tiny, tiny wizard. There we go. Sorry. In the middle of the room is a summoning circle.
Welcome to our cafe. Don't step on the summoning circle.
This could be the bar. Yeah, a little
There you
sacrificial altar. Perfect. You have found the treasure hoard. That's not a hoard. What about this? There we go. All the treasure. I also I confirmed with Paul Butler of Games and Stuff and Gaming Days, who's organising one of the guys organising the free RPG day, and the all of the booklets that we did
Ooh.
that have like how I made this in it, as well as all of the bundles of treasure from Mantic have arrived in Fort Wayne at the Alliance warehouse, and they're all being packed into the bundles.
Well,
Which will be
good.
going out. I think it's October 19th this year. It's free RPG day. So definitely check out your local store for that and all the cool
Where
things
is
that
the
we get.
dragon? Oh, I'm sure we could find dragons.
It's a dragon. I don't know. Should I brought this big guy as well?
There we go.
This is like Greastro's brother,
Yeah.
Fred.
I think this door is gonna work out very nicely. I made steps. You know. I said I
Alright.
made steps.
Oh, steps up to the door?
Well, steps down technically, since the
Oh,
other
as
part
you,
of the door is.
as you walk in? Right. Cool.
Steps down
I
into
get
the little bar here. I don't know what these are representing.
Oh. We need to move it on the...
I do
on
need
the
to move
screen.
it where it's visible. That's a helpful.
That could be good.
Do.
at that.
There we go.
Little cracks over here.
Do. Ta-da!
Yep. That's cool.
It's near perfect size. Do you prefer your terrain to be more playable or more realistic? I feel like I like a straight mix. Think old style cartoons where the backgrounds were really well like oil painted, and then you could see exactly one shrubbery that was cell shaded.
Right, in the foreground?
Yes. I really like diorama stuff, but I also still like being able to use minis. So
Nice.
that's my style if I could pinpoint it.
So in between.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like there's a little section where all of a sudden things get less realistic and more playable, but then in the background there's definitely more of a focus on it looking pretty.
Right. Okay. Where like if against the walls there'd be the mold growing in the corners, but for the table that's in the center, it's a table that can be
Yeah.
moved around easily and
Exactly.
right is to be interacted with, and doesn't necessarily have all of the
The bits and bobbles.
little nail holes and
Yeah.
hatchet marks and stuff like that. I was trying to think what else you'd find
On a table.
on a table, like the knife scoring from people doing craft on it. That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, stairs are usually pretty difficult to keep everyone on. These aren't too shabby.
Yeah.
Though. I don't typically feel like I play a lot of like scenes that would be on staircases though.
Right.
I feel like staircases are aesthetically pleasing, but nothing really happens on them typically.
That's pretty. I think that's pretty
More
fair.
or less. Like sometimes
Yeah.
there could be like if the DM specifically like makes their traps on the stairs or anything like that.
Right. Yeah. In there's a set of terrain, like plastic terrain, available for Necromunda from Games Workshop's Necromunda, and there are staircases in that because height and levels and moving up and down is very important in Necromunda as far as the game goes. But the way that the staircase is set up, it looks like it's a reasonable scale sort of staircase. But there's a gap between the stairs.
Oh,
And it's
so
just...
you can slide the base through.
Yeah. So you can see how
That's
like
really
the base
cool.
overhangs a little bit
Yeah.
there. This guy standing on here needs to be too wide for it not to be overhanging. But yeah, it would slide in underneath, so it still looks aesthetically pleasing. But you can actually have your miniatures
That's
and their move
really
on the
cool.
staircase.
Josh says, nothing happens on staircases. I won't tell Errol Flynn if you don't. Listen, for the most part, when I have played tabletop games, none of the people I have played with have been like, and you're walking up a spiral staircase. Roll. Roll for acrobatics.
That's fair.
Or if they did, it's roll for acrobatics, and we're not actually like playing with minis.
Yeah.
But
Well, that is it.
yeah, wow, time flies when you're making terrain.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Crazy. Okay.
We're like, we'll just craft things for forever. It's fine. It's
I like.
but yeah, that's our show for today. Next week we're gonna paint some things, and I'm gonna bring Garistro in, and we should try to see if we can find any other interesting things to put inside of Garistro's Bistro.
Any bistro settings?
Yeah, I might hit up Michael's for some repaints. Yeah.
That'd be cool. You should definitely do that. That'd be super funny. I'll see if Jeff's got any tiny, like, medieval dungeon cafe setting pieces tomorrow when we're at his place, taking photos. I think that could be fun. But yeah, no, that sounds good. We'll definitely need to do that for next week.
Yeah.
But, yep. We'll,
So he says you should just stream for 2 more hours.
we
So
could.
you've never been hit with the stairs into a slide trap? I haven't. And you just warned me, so I never will.
So, I just noticed I got a little bit of foam on my sticking my chin. Gets everywhere.
Yeah, I feel like I look like I have horrible dandruff.
Whereas I just do. But no, the slide trap. When I was the pretty much the first and only time I've been in a. This is gonna sound weird, like a role playing tournament.
Uh-huh.
Where it was the same adventure. Like everybody had the same characters and the same adventure, and they're like different groups went in and played the thing. So there were like, I think there was like 10 of us, 10 different groups, and so I was a dwarf, playing a dwarf fighter. There was one point where we're investigating something on the wall, and the floor dropped away. It wasn't a stairs that turned into a slide, but essentially it just opened. A wall opened into a slide, and we started sliding down that. But because I was at the front, I was like, okay, I get my shield up, and then I look over the top of my shield, and it was like you're sliding down this slide directly towards a wall of spikes that look like metal spikes pointing at you, and you're first dwarf. What do you do? And it's like,
I have a shield.
hope for the best.
Oh no.
But then I was just like, oh, I stay here. I keep doing this. There's nothing else I can do. And we slid into it, but they were rubber spikes, so we bounced off.
Best outcome.
Pretty crazy. Fun.
Best outcome.
outcome. And then we ended up on a different level, and we had to move out and around. But for that, not for that particular little bit of role playing, but for the most of the other role playing that I did, I won a prize
Oh,
for like best dwarf.
that's awesome.
I was pretty stoked.
You should have gotten did you get a little thing that said best dwarf?
Best dwarf. It was.
Yeah.
I think it was mainly because I was the only dwarf that survived. All the others died.
That's fine. You still won.
And I did. Yeah.
It's like that one time what country was it in the Olympics that like won the
That was Australia. It was in the you're talking about the Winter Olympics
Yes.
and the speed skating?
Yes.
Yep. Dude was
because he
coming
was
like
the
8th.
only one who stayed up.
The only one who stayed up. Yep.
Best dwarf.
Best dwarf.
You stayed up.
That was me.
Yep. Still counts.
That's how Australians win things. We just do what we're doing and hope that everybody else falls down. And when they do, victory. Gold medal. Thank you. But yes. Go.
All right. Well, on that note.
Yep. Thanks very much for joining us for Game Master from the Army Painter, Dungeons and Caverns Corset.
Next Thursday, we will be back and we will be painting beautifully primed
Terrain. Yep. We'll
Terrain.
be doing lots and lots
Yeah.
and lots of dry brushing.
lots and lots,
Lots
and
of dry
lots.
brushing.
Watch us next week as we have paint dry.
We'll be doing lots of this.
Preview.
Review. Good stuff.
Excellent. But yes, thank you very much, everybody.
Yep. And we'll see you next week.
Bye.